ELLIPSIS Brewing. It is pretty much in the middle of nowhere in a big industrial park, but it is the closest brewery to the Orlando airport, the closest brewery to MCO. They normally have a food truck, not here today so far. I'm not sure if they're coming later, but yeah, we're just pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Some beer, it's on my table, but this is the makeup video. So for those of you who were here earlier, we went to GATORLAND. We had this whole live stream planned. Giant debacle. Terrible. Everything could go wrong with. The Wi-Fi wasn't working there. There's no cell service inside of GATORLAND. Who knew? They were very cool. They issued us passes to come back and film, so that way I can go back with a camera, film everything there is to do with GATORLAND. I'll edit it together, put a video out for you guys. But I still wanted to do some kind of live video. I had set aside a few hours to do a live video. So I said, what's around here? Ferris wasn't feeling well. He got his vaccine shot yesterday. So he was like, he was beat. So he was just gonna go home. I said, all right, listen, I gotta go get a beer. This was a whole project, the whole GATORLAND thing. I had enough. So here we are. We're back and we're just gonna hang out at a brewery together for a little bit. And I figured, why not go to one of this is probably my favorite brewery, beer-wise. I don't know, like hangout spot-wise, but definitely the best tasting beer in Orlando. So here we are at ELLIPSIS Brewing. Hi, Angela. Oh, thanks for everyone who's coming back. Thanks, Robert. Hi, David, Jordan, Jonathan. Good to have you guys back. All right, let's go check out ELLIPSIS Brewing and see what's happening. What a disaster GATORLAND was. All right, so here it is. I don't care if I get dinged for the music, but awesome spot. So I picked myself out a little corner table over there. But let's just have a little chat, and then we'll look at the beer menu together on my next round. I'm gonna do 2 flights so I could try everything. I figure that's the move, right? So thanks for rejoining me if you were here earlier for the GATORLAND fun. Oh boy. So it's nice here at ELLIPSIS. They have hand sanitizer on every table. They are still requiring face masks except for when you're at your table, so that's why we had our face mask on. For those of you who don't know what a flight of beer is, basically what it is you get 4, I mean it depends on what brewery you go to, but here you get 4 4-ounce tastings. So you get to try a little bit of everything before committing to a pint or a beer to go. And then they give you little cards as reference. So I got beers number 2, 7, 4, and 8. My first flight, I figure I would do all IPAs. And my second flight will be all sours. Those are some of my favorite beers to have. So yeah, I'm gonna have a quick sip and then we'll just talk. We're doing a little fireside chat here because I feel awful about the way the GATORLAND stream went. So we're just gonna talk. We'll do a Q&A, fire away some questions. I also want to talk to all of you who normally come in and hang out with me. What videos do you want to see? Do you like videos like at breweries? Would you like the GATORLAND video? Do you want to see more videos in the parks? We'll talk. We're going to have a nice little combo here. We'll have a beer together because I'm here by myself. Because after GATORLAND, Ferris had to leave and I needed a beer. I had to pick up some goodies tonight. We do have our live show Outside the Bubble on wdwnt.tv. So I figure I'd grab some nice beers for Axel and Eric for us to share on the show. Anyway, cheers. If you're drinking along with me wherever you are, I hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. I should have called this Thirsty Thursday. That's what I should do. Maybe we'll have beers on Thursdays. Thirsty Thursdays. That's good. Man, they make good beer here. All right, so let's say hi. Let's see what's going on here. Again, thank you for coming over to this stream. Shout out to Jonathan, Jordan, Robert, David, Angela. Angela, thank you so much for being a member. You're awesome. Thank you to Dawn as well for being a member. Mike's Adventures for being a member. Shelly for being a member. Armbandido for being a member. Hey, Rob, good to see you from Syracuse. Jordan, Garrett, thank you so much for being a member. Tom Strong, anything hazy? Yeah, so as you can see, Tom, they're pretty hazy. So we're doing IPAs. I'll let you know which ones when I go back up to the board. I wrote them down over there. Hey, Jamie, thanks so much for being a member. Happy to have you here. yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what I do. I get some flights. Hey, Phenomenal Brandy. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. I love you so much. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a big jump. She says this, Phenomenal Brandy, this is more my speed than Gators anyway. Just a little conversation. We'll hang out here, show you what Ellipsis Brewing looks like, and have some brews together. Yeah, what a insane... So for those of you who weren't there, we went to Gatorland. I had this whole stream planned out. I had synced it up with the shows. We were going to see all the shows that they offer, walk around to the breeding marsh. We were going to look at the... they have like 100-year-old turtles that are gigantic. They have Florida panthers. They have white crocodiles. White alligators, your standard alligators. They have the largest alligator in Florida. I think it's called like the Beast or something like that. Also, a lot of people don't know this. Gatorland has Robert Lind. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Gatorland also has the biggest gator, I think, in the state of Florida. But besides that, their gator, I think it's Larry the gator, is on the back of one of the Frontier planes on the tail. So every Frontier plane has its own tail animal. If you ever fly Frontier or if you've ever seen one of their planes, there's an animal on the tail. So one of Gatorland's gators is actually the featured animal on the back of one of their planes, and you could like vote for it to be the most popular animal. It's weird, but the details are on their website. Gatorland's a cool spot. I mean, it's one of the oldest theme parks in Florida. I think it was created in the 40s or 50s. It has the first ride, like the first train ride. It's over 110 acres, over 2,000 gators. Again, I had all these facts just pre-programmed right here, and it couldn't work out. I can't believe she like knew too. Like the first two people I spoke to, Kenny, thank you so much for becoming a member. That's so awesome. Kenny Holland, thank you so much. Phenomenal Brandy, they don't have an ice skater. You're right. They don't have an ice skater. Thanks so much again to Robert Lynn. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I mean, they could tell too when I went and spoke with the first woman in the gift shop on the exit. She was like, "Oh, really? There's no service or there's no Wi-Fi? That's so weird. Did you try?" And I was like, "Yes." So then she called a manager, and the manager came over and she's like, "Yeah, we know that happens. Like, it's cool. Come on back." And then she found out I was talking to someone about WWNT, and she found out about that. So then I was talking to her because we might do an outside the bubble at Gatorland. But I'm definitely going to go back either with Faris and Lauren or just Faris, and we are going to film a full Gatorland video, do everything. I'm going to put it out for you guys as if it was live. We're going to try and keep it a live vibe-ish since we couldn't do today, because I'll just pre-record it on my camera. And just, I guess we'll never be able to do a live from Gatorland unless there's a cell tower installed in the middle of the park. Gatorland's actually much closer than you think. It's only 15 minutes from the parks. It took me 12 minutes from my house. I live very close to the Walt Disney World parks. So I would say, depending on where you're staying on property, 14 to 18 minutes from Walt Disney World property. It's probably the same distance from Universal because it's kind of a V over. It's to the east. So if you're looking on a map of Florida, you kind of have like Universal's up north, SeaWorld's in the middle, Disney's on the bottom, kind of in a row, a little bit. But then Gatorland's off to the right, like I said, heading east. About 15 minutes. It's very close, and it's, I think, very affordable. They always have specials and deals going on. Go to their website or go to Groupon. I got into the park today for $15, so kids are even cheaper. All the experiences are cheap. But we might have to do, we're thinking about doing an outside the bubble like Gatorland as well. I gotta say what's up to Katie's in the house. Scream Team is in the house. Ellipsis Brewery is north of MCO. This is the closest brewery to MCO though. I'm pretty sure if you look it up. Besides there is a brew house inside of the airport. That always comes up if you like to search breweries in Orlando. So anyway, Rob, there's the whole Gatorland story in the long version. Went to Gatorland, no cell service, no Wi-Fi service. We tried for 35 minutes to get a signal. We walked all the way around the park. We found spotty service. It just is not built for live streaming. So again, I apologize. And no ice skater. But yeah, we needed. So then I was like, what are we gonna do? Me and Faris were brainstorming in the parking lot. And we were like, it's hard to find something to do last minute to live stream because also I like to make sure I call ahead of time and make sure I'm allowed to stream. because a lot of the attractions in Orlando don't let you film on everything, and what's the point of a live stream if I have to like put you in my pocket or put you in a locker? So that's also another reason why I haven't done Universal yet. I probably will do a Universal day or 2 or 3 with you guys, but I just don't like the fact of, if you're on a live stream, like stuffing you guys in a locker or my pocket. I want you guys to do everything with me like a live stream. Also, what's up to Murphy's in the house, Stephen Noon in the house. Thanks for being a member, Stephen. You're awesome. Appreciate that. Welcome back from work. They also do have a monster truck ride at Gatorland, which we're going to do as well, I'm pretty sure. It is. I've done it once, the first time I ever went, because I thought it was going to be incredible. It is super underwhelming, but it's so cheesy. It's so Florida. I have to do it for you guys, just so you see it all. So next time I go to Gatorland, I'll pay to do everything. I don't care. We'll go. We'll do. The only thing I have to ask them about is zip lining. If they will let me take a camera, or if I need a GoPro, we'll make that happen. Also, I need to, since most of you are here, and I'm hoping most of, and another new member just popped up. I was going to just talk to the members. Tom Strong, thank you so much for becoming a member right now. I really appreciate that. If you guys are signed up already to be a member, I need your either social medias, emails, and addresses, depending on what level you're on. One, so you can take advantage of some of your benefits, so we can all chat, hang out, talk. You guys can be on the inside a little bit, but also if you're on one of those higher levels, when I go to places, I like to just get things for you guys. So I want to put together some care packages and send you guys some stuff out. So you need to email me your addresses. You could either send it to thinkevenbigger@ymail.com. That's probably the best one for this channel. If you have Disney questions or WWNT questions, you can send those to pete@wdwnt.com. So those are the two you want to use. But I'm going to try and just use thinkevenbigger@ymail.com. It's just short for Yahoo Mail, but they ran out of yahoo.com, so they changed it to Ymail, just so you guys know. But again, Terveen, fastest pint chug. I don't have any pints in front of me, so I'm doing a flight. If you guys are just tuning in here, we're drinking some flights at ELLIPSIS Brewing here in Orlando, closest brewery to the airport, and my favorite brewery for beer taste. Now, there's cooler spots and cooler breweries to hang out. Nothing, and that's not a shot at ELLIPSIS. This is a great spot. I'm here more than any other brewery, but their beer does taste the best. If you like IPAs or sours, I think they have the best IPA and sour program in Orlando. So here you go. Cheers. They do have cans, Tom Strong, and we are going to buy some. Again, another reason I decided to come here. So we couldn't decide what we were going to do after Gatorland. Farris also got his first shot yesterday, so the effects were hitting him pretty hard today. He was just tired. So why don't you go home and get some rest? Maybe we'll do a live video tomorrow somewhere else, or go back to Gatorland and do our pre-recorded stuff. But I said go home and get some rest, drink a lot of water. And I wanted to do something. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live again or not, but I was like, what should I do? I was already pretty much halfway to the airport when you're at Gatorland. So I was like, I'll just go to ELLIPSIS. I'll grab some beers for the boys tonight for outside the bubble, and I'll have a flight of whatever's new. And then I was like, you know what? I'm here by myself. Let me just talk to the people. Let me just fire up the live stream. I don't have a fancy thumbnail for this because I didn't prepare for this. I just figured I'd hang out with you guys, and since you guys didn't get your live stream from Gatorland, here we are today. So thank you so much for everyone who's here hanging out with me. This is it. This is just what you get. As if we were all gathered around the table right now. We're just chatting, having a beer together, answering whatever questions you have about ELLIPSIS Brewing, Orlando, the parks, me, the channel, questions that you might just have about life. I'll try my best to answer them for you. So let's just see what else we got. Get caught up here in the chat. So we talked about Gatorland. Yeah, 15 minutes from the parks, real easy to get to. When Uber is a normal price again, right now Ubers are inflated here in Orlando because there's not enough drivers. As a matter of fact, so I drove for Uber for like Christmas money my first year I moved down here, just turning it on and off days, because it's a great way to make money here in Orlando, especially if you live close to the Disney parks. And me knowing things about the parks, I would drop knowledge. People were so happy. I'd be like, oh, you're going here? Make sure you do this, this, and this. They were like, what? It was great. I kind of wish I had a YouTube channel back then. I would have been just collecting viewers. But so I drove for a month or two or whatever, and it was great. And not knocking. I loved Uber, and if you're an Uber driver down here in Orlando, I actually found out someone in our complex when we were at the pool area, whatever it was, a few months ago, I think. She drives for Uber. She makes $90,000 a year driving for Uber in Orlando. $90,000 a year. It's crazy down here. It's nuts. Especially if you know what you're doing. You can make some serious money. But anyway, Uber right now, there's not enough drivers. So Uber prices are almost like double or triple. And the whole point of this long story is I got an alert from Uber literally this week that was like, if you do 3 trips, we guarantee $100 or we'll make up the difference. Like, they need Uber drivers so bad down here. It's crazy. I was thinking about turning it back on, but then I have to do it because it's been so long. I have to go through everything again, background check, insurance information, license information, all that. I mean, it's not hard, but it's also timing is hard because now I'm committed to this channel and you guys, because you're also awesome, on top of WWNT, on top of just my regular jobs and all my other side hustles that I have to keep food on the table, the lights on, and Lauren happy. So the schedule is a little busy. And May and June are insane because we have so many friends and family visiting from around the country and the state. So it's just a real big balancing act these 2 months. What's up, Torps? Is Uber a conflict of interest with Nick's maxi van? That's so funny. Nick's maxi van. You know, we're still promised those shirts. I'm waiting for those shirts. Rob, thank you so much. Rob just put a very important message in the chat. He said, please like. I always forget to ask. Please, if you don't mind, please like. And if you're new to the channel, just here hanging out at the brewery, and you're into this sort of thing, I'd be happy to do this more often with you. This is my vibe. So please consider subscribing. Or just hit the like button. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. I promise you. When I stop these videos, Lauren and I get on the phone and we talk about like how exciting it was about likes and new subscribers and comments and people who joined the membership thing. And it's just so exciting. So it really makes me happy. And it helps people find these videos. So thank you so much. Rob asked, I did mention, so obviously for those of you who don't know, or if you're new to this stream, I work for WDWNT, Walt Disney World News Today. Or it's actually just WDW News Today. Saying Walt Disney World is not correct. Those of you who really want to nitpick. But I figure I'd spell that out for what WDW meant, in case you're just tuning in for a beer stream because you saw the title. But anyway, and I do a bunch of different programming for them. But anyway, we can talk more about that if you guys want. Throw it in the chat. But I did used to work construction. I mention that all the time. In my 20s, I started out, if you guys kind of want my journey, I'll give it to you. Do you want the whole journey or should I just talk about construction? Let me know. I'm going to have a beer. Talking a lot. You guys talk for a little bit. This is like we're all hanging out. Yeah, Tom. So tonight, for those of you, like I said, I do work for WWNT. Tonight is probably one of my favorite shows that we've done outside the bubble. It'll be live tonight at 9 on WDWNT.tv. There will be a post show as well if you're a Wigs member over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's why I'm here. I'm going to pick up some beers for the boys. Should we do a journey? All right, we'll do a journey. Yeah, so you guys are nailing it. Torby knows how lions strike. Phenomenal Brandy knows that I was doing something involving asbestos. All right, we'll talk about it. Why not? We're here hanging out. Let me just before I get into that, let me just check the chat, and then we'll go into the whole story. David asks, 90,000 before expenses and taxes. I have no idea. This is just a woman who works, and she could have been lying to me. Honestly, I didn't get her tax return, but that Uber driving lady who I met in the pool at my complex just said she made 90 grand driving for Uber last year. So that's great. Yeah, Murphy says, imagine Pete is my Uber driver. I didn't, I'm telling you, I actually had fun with it because I just looked at it for some extra cash. So Lauren would go to bed. She was doing teaching very early in the mornings online, waking up at like 5 in the morning. So I was like, that's not my style. But she would go to bed so early some nights at like 8 or 9, and I'm a night person. So the parks would be closed. So, well, or were they closed? Oh, they were still open, but they were still open. This is why I made money. They were still open, but they'd be letting out. I wasn't going to the parks that hour. So I would just turn it on at like 8 o'clock at night as the parks were letting out. And I would make a killing. I would just drive from like 8 to midnight and go home. And I was personable. I had fun with people. I think picking up people from Disney is more fun. And then some mornings I'd wake up with her at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. I couldn't fall back asleep, so I was like, oh, people need rides to the parks. I'll turn it on again. And I would just turn it on and drive people to the parks to start their day, drop some, give them little tips and tricks here and there. I'd play end tunes. I'd play some WWN tunes for them so they could hear their Disney music. I'd point out little things like, oh, this is the Disney Solar Field, or did you know that the Beatles broke up at the Polynesian? Yeah, that's where, Lennon signed the paperwork to dissolve the Beatles with Yoko Ono. They were at the Polynesian Resort. Or do you know that Nixon said, I am not a crook here at the Contemporary? And drop all these little facts, the Swan and Dolphin facts. And it was a lot of fun. I actually had a ton of fun driving for Uber. It just wasn't fun when all of a sudden, and you're in the beginning stages, it doesn't tell you where you're going to drive the person. So in the beginning, someone gets in the car and it doesn't tell you where you're going until they're in the car. And it'll be like, okay, you're going 50 minutes north. And you're like, I have to drive at like 11. It would be like your last trip of the night every time. Like, it'd be like 11:59. And they're like, all right, my last trip, I'm going to turn it off. Hopefully they're just going from like Epcot to the Caribbean beach. And then it'd be like 50 minutes north and they're like going to Sanford. And you're like, no. So you drive like 50 minutes up there and then you drive 50 minutes back. It's actually the only time I've been pulled over in Orlando. Well, now twice. I've never gotten a ticket, but I've been pulled over twice. But that was the first time I ever got pulled over, was because it was at night. It was new roads. I thought this was a faster road where you can go like at least 45, 55. It was like a 25-mile-an-hour road. I got pulled over doing 45, but the cop was cool, let me go. But yeah, that was a night. But anyway, I can go on tangents for days. Here you go. All right, so we're still going to talk about my career. We'll put that on. We're going to go over here. I'll walk you through the many jobs of Pete CARNEY. Hey, McSilva. No, I never dropped anyone off there. So right now, we're still working on the flight. We were 3 out of 4 in. These are all IPAs, so I decided to start with IPAs, and then I'm going to move to sours. Again, more people are tuning in. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. For those who don't know, we're here at ELLIPSIS Brewing. It is, I think they have the best beer in Orlando. We tried to do a GATORLAND stream earlier. Did not work out well. I was very frustrated. Put some time and effort into that, and it didn't happen. So I said, you know what? I need to pick up some beers for the boys tonight. I could use a beer myself. I'm already halfway to ELLIPSIS, because this is about 20-ish minutes for me, 20-ish, yeah. And I was already halfway here. So I said, hey, I'm going to go over to ELLIPSIS. I didn't even plan on doing a live stream here, but then I said, you know what? Let's just do it. I need some people to hang out with. I was at GATORLAND with Ferris, got his vaccine, so he went home to recover. And for those who've already heard the story 3 times, I'm sorry. Just figure I'd fill everyone in as you're coming in. But it's nice to see everyone coming in. Robert D is here. It's Pat. Where is it? Pat here? I do know it's Pat, by the way, for those of you who want to know. I have a whole story about that, too. If you want to know, I'll tell you the whole thing. There's a lot we're going to talk about here today. I thought I'd have nothing to talk about. This is why I like this hangout and chat conversation. What's up, Pat Mix75? And thanks for being a member. You're friggin' awesome. Love Pat. Pat and I had an epic Epcot day on WWNT. K-Jack in the house. What's up, K-Jack? Was here the entire time. Never invited me to hang out. Wanted to hang out with K-Jack. K-Jack never wanted to hang out. Messed up, K-Jack. It's messed up. Mousing Around is here and it says in the chat, you sold alcohol. I did sell alcohol. I sold beer on Long Island and in the 5 boroughs of New York City for a little bit of time there too. I was doing as best as I can. All right, I think I'm caught up in the chat. Let's jump into some journeys here. Did I miss anyone else? I want to say hi to everybody. So Robert D asked if there's any food here. There's normally a food truck here, but I think it comes later on. It's still early. For some reason in my head, it feels like 7 o'clock. It like rained earlier, where like it was bright and beautiful, and then like got dark, and that just put like a weird phase in the day. So it feels like it's like 6 p.m., but it's 3:45 here on the East Coast. Hey, look at this. Hookalua. Hookalua just became a member. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pat is watching from the Epcot Lagoon. That is correct. That's where he lives now. Hukalua, any New York jobs? Well, yeah, they were all New York jobs until I moved here in August of 2019 because I grew up on Long Island. So I'll walk you through all my New York jobs in a second. It's a fun little journey I've had. I mean, I won't walk you through all my jobs, but I'll walk more through the career because I always had 15 jobs. It was just a million jobs all the time. My dad kind of instilled that in me. I'm not sure if I ever talked to my dad, but that's a whole other story too. My dad grew up in an orphanage, then like lived in the woods because he promised his best friend he would wait. So when you turned 18 in the orphanage, you got like $5 on your birthday, and they were like, good luck in life. And he promised his best friend, his birthday was 3 months later, he would wait for him so they could join the Air Force together. So my dad like built himself a house in the woods and like hung out, like raking leaves for money and like living in the woods until his best friend left the orphanage. Then they joined the Air Force together. They served Vietnam. My dad's life story is crazy. We'll talk about that one day too. You can learn all about me here. But I mean, if that's boring, just tell me in the chat and I'll change it up to Disney talk or Orlando talk. And again, if I see like, tons of the green names in the chat, which means you're a member, so thank you. Please email me your social medias. Please email me your address so I can send you stuff. I have a lot of things and care packages and gifts and stuff. I mean, more if you're like the higher levels, I'm going to mail you stuff. But if you're those other ones, like I still want to hang out with you on social media. I still want to give you members only stuff. I'm going to make this legit. Here's the other thing, and I'll go into all this other stuff in a second. But there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, and there's a lot of people who do exactly what I do. I just wanted to be special because I was that person. I watched at home for years. I watch all the same ones that I feel like everybody watched over the years, and I become friends with a lot of them now. So like now I know the trackers. I know Resort TV 1. I know Corey Meets World, and I know Braden, the young little baby boy, little cute boy. But I just want this to be something special, and I want it to be worth ever. I mean, I know how hard it is to make $1, and I know I appreciate all the support. Basically, that's it. So I'm just saying, for all those supporting the channel, I got your back. We're gonna make this. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Anyway, with that being said, back to the chat, and then I'll walk you through because once I start telling a story, we could be here forever. And again, if you're new to the channel, just hanging out, and you have brewery questions, if you have Orlando questions, if you have any theme park questions about me, anything, throw them in the chat. I'm going to get to all of them because we're hanging out having beers. I'm going to have another flight after this. Sours. And sours are low ABV, so we're good. Also, guys, I know you see this, just in case there's anyone who's concerned. You see this and you're like, wow, Pete's drinking a lot of beer. One flight is equal to one beer. So a pint is 16 ounces. These are four ounce. You can actually see it right there on the cup. 4 4-ounce cups is 16 ounces. So I can have 2 beers and be okay. I just want everyone to know that. I also keep a breathalyzer in my glove compartment just to always check, make sure I'm okay. It's kind of a trick I learned when I used to sell beer in New York. And also, since I sold beer in New York, I have a very high tolerance. And I know everyone says that. You probably have like an uncle or a cousin that says like, I can drink 1 million beers. I can. But also just to be safe, I keep a breathalyzer in my car because I never want to drink and drive and put anyone's life in danger. So I'll just throw that disclaimer out here and now. I keep everyone safe. Now that we've established safety protocols, yeah, Tom's drunk. Pete, you don't have to justify a real professional drinkers. Well, not everyone. And if you're under 21, I don't encourage you drinking beer unless you are around a responsible adult who will take care of you. I mean, or just don't drink beer. Preferably your parents. All right. Let's see if I missed anything else in the chat. I always have to go back to the chat because if I forget something, here's the thing. And a few people who have come down, Mike, Granny came down, Mandy was down this weekend. I'm going to try and meet up with Tomorrowland Traveler at some point tomorrow. But they see it, and they're like, oh, when I live stream, they come behind you, and the chat flies by and disappears. So, like, you can only see 4 or 5 at a time, but they're moving, and they disappear pretty quickly. So that's why I'm constantly going back, like, hey, let's just check out what's going on here. And yeah, thanks for everyone who hit the like button. It does help the YouTube algorithm, helps people find this. I don't know if I want everyone to find this. No, everyone can find this one, just not the GATORLAND one. And also, don't... By the way, this is the king of rambling going on right now. But you got to keep entertaining, right? why would you watch otherwise? I already renamed the Gatorland video. Please do not watch. Just for fun. Because, you know, don't watch it. And if you did watch it, my favorite part is that it was such a trash video. And the reason you guys are so awesome is it has like 50 likes and no dislikes, at least at the time of this video. And it's just a video of me having no service over and over again. That's how awesome and cool you guys all are. Like, I love you guys so much. It's freaking awesome. All right. Last chance on the chat. And then I'm going to go tell all my stories. How far back do you think I should go? Let's go to right here. Here we go. This looks right. If I missed your chat, just put it out again because I missed it. Line striping, I have to talk about that, Torpy, for sure. Shout out to John Bailey as well. I know he's not here, but I just want to say shout out to him because I love him. Shout out to Armbandido. Shout out to Tomorrowland Traveler. Shout out to Jordan Garrett. Those are all my people right there. Let's see. Beers. Tom Strong. All right. Think we're good. We're getting down to almost where. Oh no, we're not even close. I'm still at. This is where I'm at in the chat. Just so you know, I'm back to 341. But we're moving. Making the house. All right. So Phenomenal Brandy said I was running late to the airport once, and I had an Orlando Uber driver make it from Universal Orlando to Sanford in 30 minutes. Wow, that's impressive. I thought we were going to die the whole way, 5 stars. I've done that when people find out. So when I was driving for Uber, and again, I'll go back and talk. So I drove for Uber for like 2 months or whatever it was. Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. It was right around there. But I did have someone, so I thought it would be nice to let people know, like, you could talk to me if you want or don't talk. Because when I'm in an Uber, sometimes I'm in the mood to talk, sometimes I'm not. So I used to have a little something on the back of the headrest, a little something I printed out, and I just like strapped it to the back of the headrest. And I just said like, hey, if you want to talk, I'm here to talk. If you don't want to talk, totally cool with that. If you want to hear certain kind of music, I got Sirius XM, let me know. Like, this Uber ride's for you. And I'd be like, and just a little bit about me. I'm Pete, I'm from New York. I just moved down here. I like Disney. I like the NFL. I used to, you know, like, I own a DJ company. I do this, that, and the other thing. And I just gave like a little synopsis about me. So that way people knew. And they'd be like, oh. So this one guy once was like, you're from New York? And I was like, yeah. He's like, any chance you can get me to the airport in like 15 minutes? I'm like, bro. Yeah, so I got him there pretty quickly. Once you drive in New York for a while, you can go pretty quickly. Yes, right now I'm drinking an IPA. Flights. We're going to talk about my jobs in a second. Dawn, you wrote the SNL skit. Which one? Is it, you talking about Pat, the SNL skit, or are you talking about It's Pat, a different? I'm going to talk about It's Pat if people know what it is. Oh, Pat, as in Pat Mix 75 you guys are talking about? Oh, yeah. Pat Mix 75 lives on the lake. I go and visit him all the time. Totally kidding. I love him, by the way. And by the way, what's up to TLOS? Shout out to you. Tom Strong says, Trillium is 20 minutes for me, and Treehouse is 50. Wow. Yes, please. Or just mail some to me. I'll give you my P.O. box. Mail it on down. Let's have a little swap, my friend. Yeah, Dawn, thank you for clarifying. Pat, Guy in Lagoon, It's Pat, SNL skit. Got it. Kenny says, get a blue Kuiper crystal. I am. That's my next flight. They have it here on tap. I'm doing all sours on the next flight. We're going to go up together and get the flight together in a second. Phenomenal Brandy says, you better hang in there. I got a long post show tonight ahead of you. So, Phenomenal Brandy, that's actually part of my strategy of why I'm here. When I go out, hang out with Eric and Axel. So, by the way, she's talking about tonight, I'm on a show called Inside the Bubble. I'm sorry, Outside the Bubble. Yikes. Doing a lot of talking. It's on WDWNT.tv. Check it out tonight live at 9 o'clock. We do, it's a live with pre-recorded segment show. It's fantastic. I really love it. But anyway, hanging with Eric and Axel is they have like bourbons, whiskeys, and heavy stuff. So my strategy, because I have to go the distance tonight, and I have a very busy morning tomorrow, is again, I used to sell beer. So beer is kind of like my wheelhouse, is to come here, get them some really good beers, and that way I can last tonight and be fine tomorrow morning. Instead of the bourbons and the whiskeys. There's some strategy behind this. There's some strategy. And I'll be fine too. Again, you guys see the pace I'm drinking. Technically, I'm only 3/4 of the way through my first beer. We're gonna learn. We know this together. We're gonna get through this together. Cheers. Let's finish this up. Delicious. Oh, Bailey is here. Thank you, Bailey. Appreciate that, Ox. $10 sticker right there. Appreciate that. You're the man. So generous, so kind, so awesome. But yes, I'll be fine for tonight. We have a show tonight at 9, and then we're doing a post show at 10. Because you know what? You gotta do the right thing. Yeah, I would love... Pat is an awesome guy. Pat Makes 75, by the way, I'm talking about, is an awesome guy. We got to hang out at Epcot all day one day. He won an auction for us to go to Jelly Rolls together, but then Jelly Rolls closed. So we just kind of hung out at Epcot for an entire day, and it was epic. We drank around the world together. It was so much fun. K-Jack wants a Gucci sweater. Oh, it's in the mail. Robert will be here 5:22. I don't know what I'm doing because I'm using my phone. Thanks, guys. Oh, everyone's saying so many nice things. I guess I must have said something cool there for a minute. Beer. All right, Robert DX. Beer question from a non-beer drinker. This is a good question, so pay attention, everyone. Can you get a frosted glass to keep it super cold? So here at breweries, and most breweries, won't do that. Like places like Twin Peaks, Hooters. I didn't mean to put those two together, but they just go together in my brain. But like chain restaurants, like Applebee's Fridays. I don't know. I haven't been to a lot of these places in a while, but they normally do the frosted glasses. Keep your beer cold on your table. Craft beer should be enjoyed pretty quickly from the time you order it. It's super fresh to begin with, craft beer, so it should be enjoyed pretty quickly. Also, the frosted glass can can add like water. It's almost like putting an ice cube sometimes in your beer. Not all the time, and it depends on the glass and how it's frozen and everything else. And I know some places that keep their glasses cold for that reason, to keep it cold. But also, IPAs and most other craft beers can be enjoyed just below. Like, it's like somewhere that sweet spot between room temp and super cold out of the tap, whether it's like 41 degrees or something like that, 42 degrees. So that sweet spot between, like, let's just say like 40 degrees to 50 degrees, like that room temp, and then again, like obviously like the temp in here is probably 70, so you don't want it 70 degrees, but it still can be enjoyed. You gotta let the beer breathe a little bit. I have nothing against frosted glasses, but they don't do them in a lot of craft breweries. It's also very extra, and just coming from a craft brewery background, craft breweries, especially when they're starting out, are nickel and diming everything. They're just trying to survive. They might have giant spaces like this, and this is ELLIPSIS, and you see this big space, and the brewery is down the hallway. We'll go look at it in 1 second, but they're just trying to get by, and they're paying for all the square footage. That's why a lot of times like places like this are off the beaten path, because you have to find like an industrial park. If this was in like a strip mall or a retail center or closer to the parks or the traffic, they'd be paying 5, 6, 7 times per square foot, and they wouldn't be able to survive. So they're just trying to nickel and dime. So having something to, even just having the fridges, one, you have to pay for that refrigerator, and two, you have to keep it plugged in and pay that electric bill just to keep glasses cold, is just an added expense. And unless there's room in like their cold box, which is just another term for a refrigerator, where a lot of time where you keep your kegs. So if there's room in there, you can frost some glasses, but I wouldn't say not at some of the newer craft breweries. And I like the small mom and pop craft breweries. Maybe the bigger ones might have that. Like when I was out in Colorado, I've been out to GABF a few times, the Great American Beer Festival in Colorado, and like some of the breweries and brew houses and even bars around there have like frosted glasses. Also because the stupid thing with Coors and the Blue Mountains. But anyway, they can afford to do that. Just, you won't see that in a lot of small up and coming breweries. Dawn, thank you. Dawn makes a good point. Pete, we have witnessed your high tolerance many times. It's all good. David, no, it's not. The breathalyzer is not required to turn my car on. I promise you guys that. It's just there for to make sure. It's actually a lot of fun at weddings. Sometimes I take it into weddings, and people have way too much fun trying to beat it, and it's not a game, but hey, it's at a wedding. Have you heard of Disney-inspired brews? I know Tampa has a Tiki Room and Dole Whip-inspired beer. Tom Strong just asked that question. Have you heard of Disney-inspired brews? Let's start there. Yes, there are certain breweries here that make beer for just the parks exclusively. So if you've had a Kungaloosh beer, if you've had old... Kungaloosh is the most famous one, because you can only get that at Nomad, and you can only get it at... oh, man. Nomad, and what's the other place you can get a Kungaloosh? Well, you can get it in Animal Kingdom, but there's another place on property. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. So much on my mind because I'm reading the chat, and I know I have 16 other topics to go back to in a second. And I want to show you the brew house floor. This is the mind of an ADHD, right? So all I'm thinking about is I have to still tell you my salary, my career story. Still have to show you the brew house. Still have to order a new flight. Still have to pick up beer for Brian for tonight. Still have to do the outside the bubble thing. Respond to 2 other comments I just saw that popped up and up here. And I'm just having fun. And also continue a stream of thought. But I've been doing it for years, so we're all good. But anyway, yeah, so to answer your question, there are a ton of breweries that make beers just for Disney. And it's not hard so we call that contract brewing. And in the craft beer industry, contract brewing happens all the time. Sometimes even other breweries will make beers for breweries up the road because they don't have enough tanks, or they don't have enough time and energy or material. So they'll be like, hey, or even if you're a small brewery, you're just starting out and you have like 4 beers, if someone goes to your tap room, if it's even a tap room, you want to have more than 4 options. So you might even have someone contract brew a few beers for you, or have people even make your own beer. You give them the recipe and they make yours for you if you want to sell it in larger quantities, or put other people's beer at your tap room. Skipper Canteen, thank you. That's it, Skipper Canteen. Appreciate that. I knew you guys would come through. All right. We're getting through this. We're getting through this chat. I'm up to 3:51 in the chat, which is not the current time here. We're close. It's only 4 after. Thanks, Angela. Angela says, appreciate how engaged you are in the chat. This is what we're doing today. This is just the makeup stream for the Gatorland. If you're just tuning in, we're making up. This is the makeup stream. It was not what I intended, but here we are. We're hanging out at a brewery together, having some beers on a thirsty Thursday, if you know what I'm talking about. Nick Silva says, I'll be there 8:28 through 9:06, staying at the Boardwalk. Let's grab drinks at Abracadabra. Sure. Fun fact about those dates, Mick Silva, 8:28, I'm actually seeing Bill Burr down in Fort Lauderdale. He's playing the Seminole Hard Rock. So we're doing Bill Burr. And then 8:29 is my birthday. So we're staying overnight for Bill Burr in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know what we're doing for my birthday yet, but I'll let you guys know. Hey, I invite everybody to everything. And then the rest of that week should be fine. I know it's Labor Day weekend, so it's going to be a little crazy. LDW. Tomorrowland Traveler's here. Yo, sorry, Pete. Fell asleep at the Art of Animation running on 1 hour sleep. It's all good, Tomorrowland Traveler. Get some sleep. I already gave you a shout out like 3 times. Enjoy your sleep. You're here on Disney. You're here at Disney. Have a good time. Totally get it. Pat Mick answered Robert D that he'll be here on and off all this weekend. Pat, let me know what you're doing too. I'd love to see you. Love hanging out with you. Christopher says, Pete, going to send you an email and see what your plans are when I'm at Walt Disney World, June 14th through the 22nd. I know I'll be in New York in the middle of June. I'm not sure what dates. I mean, I do know, but not off the top of my head. It's in my phone. I mean, I don't want to turn the stream off, but shoot me an email. thinkevenbigger@ymail.com. The letter Y. Tomorrowland Traveler and Fred Bailey and Armbandido and Jordan Garrett. You guys are all awesome. Let's see what else we got going on. David does know where he used to work. Great South Bay. That is where I used to work. DMX is on in the background. That's fun. Yeah, lagers could work. Tom Storm makes a good point. Lagers could work for a frosted glass. Most others wouldn't probably work as well. And Robert wrote, Hooters, Twin Peaks, my kind of places. Let's see what else we got going on. All right, Phenomenal Brandy asks a question. Tennessee Gal question. Instead of breweries, are there any good distilleries in town? Yes. See, I am afraid of distilleries because I go to distilleries like they're craft breweries, and I'm like, oh, let's do a flight. Like, let's have everything. And liquor hits me a lot harder than, obviously, than beer. There is. I'll email you a list. I don't know off the top of my head because, again, it's not my thing. I try to avoid those so that way I can stay sane. I don't like getting too crazy too often, but I'll email it to you, Brandy. Or I think I have your email, Brandy, but if I don't, just shoot me an email first or a message. Mike's Avenger says if beer is too cold, sometimes you can't taste everything in the beer. No, yeah, that's true too. Like you want to let it open up. Beer, I mean, especially craft beer, right? Not all beer, but beer is a lot like wine. Wine actually, craft beer is what got me into wine. So I was a big craft beer drinker from college. The fraternity I was in, we grew up around the corner from Blue Point Brewing, which a lot of people know now because it's in all 50 states and in Europe. But it was a tiny brewery when I was in college. And we used to go actually clean that brewery as pledges. I know the owners. I know the brewmasters. Now there's new ones. Before their expansion, we were in that building. We cleaned it, and we had a rule in our fraternity. It was like the rare exception I learned once I got out of college. I thought breweries were like fraternities were like this, but we used to only be able to bring craft beer or imported beer to parties. You weren't allowed to bring domestic trash, as they called it. So like you couldn't show up to a party with like Bud Light or Bud or Miller or Coors. You had to bring a local craft beer, or you had to bring like Heineken or at least something decent so they know you tried. And that's how I went through college. So there is something to be said for, I feel as though craft beer, you do want it to open up, and then eventually that's what took me into the wine game, is that I loved craft beer for years, and then I had a friend who owned a wine, he owned a liquor store, but then it turned more into a wine shop, and then he went out to make his own wine in California, and I went out to visit him in Napa and Sonoma a few times, and he took me around, and I fell in love with wine. I mean, it was a good way to fall in love, tasting some ridiculous wines in Napa and Sonoma for free, going with a winemaker. I remember it was like, I was not a wine expert, but he's like, just go along with it and just be honest. He's like, when people ask you what you smell, like, you don't have to sound intelligent. Like, he's like, you could say it smells like a brand new garden hose, and people would be like, wow, that's a great observation. Or he'd be like, fresh cut grass, or this smells like a dirty floor in a cellar, so I was just brutally honest, and people loved it. I'm pretty good at coming up with creative ways to describe things. So that it was a great trip. I remember he would tell me at the end of the day, like, do you know that third wine we had today is like $4,000 a bottle? And I was like, what? It like blew my mind. Thank God he didn't tell me at the time, because I would have lost it. But anyway, craft beer, going back to your question about tasting at the right temperature, should be opened up. Oh, you are awesome.
From the owners.
Oh, thank you so much. Which is which? I was about to come up for another flight.
So this is the mango banana, and this is the wild berries, the fruit by the series.
Love that. I'm going to do another flight. Can I get this to you now? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I just was going to do 4 other sours, I guess, besides those, if you have them.
I think we have them, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. I'll
Appreciate
bring it
that.
back to
Look at that. We got, so this is the fruit by the series. This is, they have an amazing series of sours here called Fruit by the Blank. So it's like fruit by the foot. Oh my God, that's so good. Just licking my fingers, it's so good. Once it hits your lips, it's so good. All right, let's just get into this. This is overflowing, so I just want to have it. Look at it. It's alive. Look at this thing. Oh, boy. Oh, that's good. I'm making a mess of this table. And my OCD, I have to go get paper towels because I can't live like this. I can't live with drips on the table. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh, that's so good. All right, so their sours are insane here. Oh, I can't say this enough. And I mean, do I have to say hosted? I didn't pay for this. I mean, they brought them over to me, but I didn't tell them what I was doing. They don't know how many people are watching, but he's a nice guy. This place is great. You got to come here. Their sours are insane. That's so good. That legitimately tastes like a fruit by the foot. Like 100% fruit by the foot to the face. That's so good. So I'm going to get a crowler of that to go. For those of you who don't know what a crowler is, let's go through a crowler. Crowler is just a large, so you have a can, which is a 12 or a 16-ounce can sometimes. And then there's growlers, which is a half gallon of beer. It's 64 ounces. A crowler is somewhere between those two, where it is a can where you get more. I think is it 32? Somebody help me out. I think it's 32. 32 ounces in a crowler. I'm gonna try this one. It's the mango. 32. Thank you, Cameron. I knew I was right there. Do the Humpty Hump. Come on and do the Humpty Hump. Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin. This is, because I'm about to ruin. This is beautiful. Look at this. Oh my God. This is going to come across so beautiful on camera.
That's number 13, though.
Okay. I'll know about it. It's all good. Can I run up there? Do you have paper towels? I just don't want,
Yes.
I don't want your tables to get sticky. You gotta stay right there. Or you know what? I'll just show you the bar. But no, I'm gonna come to you. Alright. I'm right here. I got you. Oh. I'll do it. I'll clean. I worked at a brewery for years. I just want to show you your beer list. So as you can see, as I was saying, huge focus on IPAs and sours, which they do the best in Florida. And if you were to go through here, bathrooms here, offices on the right, their brew house back here. I think it's a 10 barrel. I'm not sure, but I'll find out for what size brew house. Do the Humpty Hump. Look at this beer flight. Tell me that is not beautiful. Do the Humpty Hump. So this place, Kathy asked a good question. How far is this place from Disney? First of all, because I'm a bit of a neat freak, I'm just gonna clean up real quick. I told him just to give me this. I was like, I'll do it for you. Just cleaning, you know, what you guys want to see. This is the chase to the hump. All right, returning cleaning materials. Be right back. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Ah, shucks. All right. Let's get what's important back close to me. My babies. Oh, look at this. Oh, boy. Actually, I'm really going to show you guys, and this is also a great sobriety test here. Which, again, I've been fine. But look at this. It's so beautiful. All right. Just at the table. Okay, we're gonna get comfortable here. Get back to, let's get down to business. All right, we have a lot to talk about. Again, if this is your first time here on the stream, thanks for watching. My name is Pete. This is my channel. We were supposed to do a live stream earlier at GATORLAND. You probably see that here on the channel as well. Did not go according to plan, so I said, I'm gonna go have a beer. I decided to fire up the old live and just hang out with you guys. So thanks for watching. If you're enjoying any part of this at all, please hit the like button. And I'm answering all your questions in the chat. At least I'm trying to in the way they come in. And saving some conversations for later because they're very long. All right, where was I? I think it was at 4 o'clock. All right, here we go. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get you your Distillery's Phenomenal Brandy. Yes, beer should open up sometimes. I do believe that. We're still talking about the career story and the construction. Yes, I'm getting there, Mike's, I promise. Is there a good beer flight at Oga's Canteen? I said Uga because that's the way you spelled it. It's only one O in Oga. I got you, McSelvin. Yeah, the beer's okay. It's cool. It's cool to do. I mean, it's Disney, so like they're getting their beer contract brewed. You know, it's not going to blow your mind. I think the best beer experience involving Disney would probably just going to Ballast Point next to Disneyland in California. It's one of the coolest spots. I was so excited when that opened. That was probably like very close to why I booked my second trip out there. Oh, nice. McSilva. Bo Burr's from a couple towns over from you. He lives in LA now, but I do like Burr. I'm seeing Bert Kreischer in the fall as well at City Walk. He's from Tampa, but he lives in LA now too. Descent and Hidden Springs Ale Works both have Dole Whip inspired sours. They're both really good. I've had one of them. I think I've had Hidden Springs. When maybe I had Descent. I don't know. But I've had one of the Dole Whip beers. Winter Park Distillery, is that a thing, Dawn? I don't know. I don't know if I've been to that one, but it might have. Let's see. Yeah, Dawn said her college parties were more like kegs of Busch. I agree. Like once we started throwing like parties later on, like so that was the first regime, and then once we were like juniors and seniors, we were just like, all right, like I think it was my birthday party. Was I a junior or a senior? But we went through like 6 kegs of beer in 2 hours, so we had to go out and get more. It was a lot of fun. Whoa, they are not messing around. There's the landscapers are outside doing trim work, and they just chopped up the glass next to us. Let's see what else we got going on. I'm moving right through this, chat. Moving right through it. PBRs for Phenomenal Brandy. Yeah, PBRs. I've had a bunch of those too. It's not like that I ever had bad beer, and I still drink it. I mean, like, I had to make Ultra, I don't know, was it Sunday or Monday? Because I was just like, all right, I'm just going to pay someone to have a beer. I felt like having a beer. They do have a food truck here all the time, Robert. Where is this brewery? So this is right near the Orlando airport, right near MCO. It is north of Disney, about 25 minutes. So not super close to Disney, and there's a bunch of other breweries around here. I'll probably do a video about it if you guys are really into breweries. There's a bunch of cool, weird breweries around here. Orlando's beer scene has gotten a lot better over the last few years. Yes, they are, Robert. That's the Crowlers are the little keg-looking cans of beer. Yeah, 32 ounces. See, we're moving. I like the aesthetic here. Phenomenal Brandy says, yeah, it's cool. How close are they to Disney? I just said, but they're about 25 minutes, Kathy. I've only been to a few breweries in Orlando. Ellipsis is definitely my favorite. Yeah, Kenny. I totally agree. I think they make the best beer. Like I said, there's other crazy breweries you should visit here. Like, there's a brewery here that's listed as a church. Like, they legit do service on Wednesdays and Sundays. Like, you walk in, there's a bar with taps, a whole brew house. You see all their brewing equipment. There's tables of people drinking beer. And then you turn the corner, and there's a whole setup like a church. There's a music area. There is an altar. There are chairs and pews set up. It's wild. It's just little things like that are more like, oh, this is cool. And the beer is okay. I mean, it's not, you're not like buying it at the store, but it's good enough to drink and then take your friends or your YouTube channel to be like, look at this church, which is a brewery. You saw that, right, Michelle? Michelle knows. I'll clean. I don't mind cleaning. I like a clean place. August Flight, yeah. August Flight comes with, you can get the actual flight tasting board and glasses for $75 filled up. It's a little pricey. I might do it just one day. We'll see. Tactical is another cool brewery. It's in a really nice area. So if you guys ever want to go to another brewery in a very nice walking area, what I call like a walking town, it's kind of like Port Jeff on Long Island. If you're from Long Island. If otherwise, that literally means nothing to you. But Tactical Brewing is really cool. Yeah, Castle Church is the name of it. Kenny knows. Hey, Andrew Miller, nice to have you here. Okay. Pat, it could be tax purposes. Who knows? But it's genius. All right, so now we're all caught up. We're going to have a beer. We're going to talk about it. And then I'll walk you through the other things we already discussed. Oh, that's good. Their fruit by the series is literally insane. It's so good. I've been to Shipyard. Shipyard's cool. I went to the Shipyard. Where's the other one? But anyway, all right. So you guys want to know a little bit about the career? Here we go. Let's get into it. I see we've lost some viewers, so if they were waiting for that, I'm sorry. Here it is. Maybe they'll come back and rewatch. And if you're watching and you enjoy any of this, hit the like button. Maybe consider subscribing. I would appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We're gonna have a great show tonight on WWNT.tv, outside the bubble, and then followed by a post show. But anyway, and yes, we do need to have a meetup. And like I said, if you're ever in town and you are a fan of my channel, I would love to meet up and say hi. Even if you're not a fan, I'd probably still meet up and say hi. It takes a lot for me not to like somebody. What's the green one? I have no idea what the green one is. That's number 9. Let's go find out. I didn't order these. So. I was so excited. They were like, what is that? All right, so this is the blue Kyber crystal. So there you go for those Disney fans. There it is. Let's get into it. That's so good. That's cool. So it's not like a puckering sour. It has more of a sweetness to it, but again, not a puckering sweetness. It's smooth. It's not, all right, so it's not like super, I would say, all right, so if this makes any sense, it's fruit forward without the sugar. So like you get like a lot of time, so like with sours, like a lot of time, like there's a few different categories, right? And you can start with like puckering, like you're like, whew, that's sour. Or you're like, ooh, that's smooth. This is more smooth. This is more like, I'd say like a Berliner. And it might even be a Berliner. I bet you this is a Berliner Weiss. Hold on. By the way, love it. We're talking all about the brewery. So yeah, I was right. It's a Berliner Weiss, like I said, it's berries. So like, it's not a lot of residual sugar. It's just more of that sweetness, smooth sweetness. Super well done. I mean, I'll see if I can get the owner over here to talk about it. I mean, why not? Kevin, I know. Where's the Gators? I messed up. The GATORLAND stream was awful, so I came to a brewery, Kevin, and here we are at ELLIPSIS Brewing, drinking beers. We're having fun. We're on our sours. We're ready to the IPAs. Yeah, the Blue Kyber Crystal is awesome. It almost has like an Ecto Cooler kind of taste, to be honest, but not like the flavor of Ecto Cooler, but more like that vibe. It's very unique. I haven't had anything like it. So it's like, oh, it's such a great song too. Hey, here we go now. All right. Anyway, moving on. See you later, Pat. Isn't this a great playlist? Phenomenal Brandy, Goo Goo Dolls, and Humpty Hump on the same playlist, and now you got this going on. I love it. I can't think of this either because I'm going blank on everything. My brain just shut off for the day. Well, tell me if you hear me. Now that is phenomenal. Yeah, that's right. Feel Me Flow, Naughty by Nature. Thank you, Phenomenal Brady. Here we go now, mama, if you feel me flow. This was awesome. Yeah, Kevin, we're definitely coming here. I have a full itinerary. I know it's your special week, but I got some breweries you need to come check out. This place is amazing. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, we're at ELLIPSIS Brewing here in Orlando, Florida, right near the MCO airport. Best IPA and sour program in Central Florida, for sure. All right, we're moving on to the next beer here. Oh, so you guys want to know about the career? You're asking in the chat here. I kind of floated around doing a bunch of jobs. My dad, like I said, was a hustler, so I was always a hustler. I started working when I was 14. My parents believed once you got working papers at 14, you had to work. So I was working at Old Navy outlet by my house. I would literally have to take the bus from high school and get dropped off at work. I would go to work, and then my parents would pick me up at like, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes later. I go home, have some dinner, go to sleep, wake up, do my homework on the bus on the way to work in the morning, on the way to school in the morning, because I had about an hour bus ride in high school. So I went to Central Islip on Long Island, not the best school district or reputation. I was in public school, and then my parents put me out, which is probably a good move. I wasn't with the best group of friends. Oh, Cameron drinking a 2013 Goose Island. Very nice. Cheers, my friend. So they sent me to St. Anthony's High School in Huntington on Long Island. But it's about a 40-minute drive, and when you're on a bus, it's a lot longer. So it was a little bit of an hour ride. So I do my homework on the bus in the morning. But anyway, worked throughout high school, had a bunch of random jobs. Fast forward, I went to college, St. Joseph's College. Worked throughout college, obviously. But I'd say kind of like where my career or like jobs really that mattered started were when I was 23 or 24. I had a girlfriend, and her brother worked for this company that did asbestos, lead, and mold consulting for school districts and hospitals and other places like that. And they needed technicians over the summer because that's when schools are closed, because you can't do asbestos or lead removal when school is in session. It's quite the process. So they always need extra help over the summer. So he told me about it. He said, hey, it pays, I don't remember what it was, like $12.50 an hour. And that was 10, 12 years ago or something like that. So it was pretty decent money. It wasn't great money, but it was also, you could make your own hours, and there was a lot of hours to be had. You could work up to 60, 70 hours if you wanted to. They had tons of hours because they had overnight projects during the day, projects that ran 24 hours. So I started at $12.50, did very well with that company, ended up running that up. A year later, I was making right around, maybe a year and a half. Somewhere between a year and a half later, I shot up the corporate, quote unquote, or just the ladder there at the company, and I made right around 90 grand a year. And I became a manager, project manager, managing. It wasn't the next summer, so the following winter, because again, winter break, so you have winter break, February break, spring break, and then summer were your big asbestos removal times, because you need everyone out of the building, and you have to basically, it's almost like quarantining, but I mean, like, you literally have to like section off an entire section of the building because you have to do 3 cleanings and get proper air sampling results and make sure that no asbestos is in the air or on any surfaces before you leave. So I became a manager. I ended up hiring, 30, 40, 50 people a year of what I used to do. I had a great mentor. He walked me through it. He moved up. He was like one of the vice presidents. So I kind of took over the role for Suffolk County. Probably had about 50 people underneath me, managing around $50 million worth of work, of sensitive work in schools and hospitals. So that was a really big deal when I was my late 25, early 26 years old. A lot of responsibility, a lot of money, and I was busting my butt. I mean, I was working 80, 90-hour weeks. It probably was the coolest job I had because I was young. At the time, I thought I knew it all because you don't feel young when you're 26, but you are. But like, again, I would be on like news conferences. I would be doing school board meetings and reassuring parents and teachers and principals that they're in the best hands. And our company had a great reputation. I was also one of the only project managers on Long Island that never received a single violation. Other companies had like 10, 20, 30 violations from the state. And we were inspected all the time and not a single violation. And I was lucky. I worked for a company that really believed in training. Would back me up with everything I said. And I also had a knack of kind of figuring out who were the hustlers and who weren't. So, I was with them from 2008 until 2013. And then I kind of switched teams. It was a great company to work for. However, the owner went through a divorce, kind of got re-involved with the company, started to micromanage. Started to roll back hours. A great part of my job was all the overtime I got and didn't want any more overtime. Which was a big cut for me. But So I knew all the GCs, all the general contractors on Long Island. I knew all the CMs, all the construction managers on Long Island. And Hurricane Sandy hit Long Island just as I was kind of changing teams. And I went to go, and I say changing teams because then you go for a general contractor. And a general contractor is trying to make as much money as possible with the least amount of regulation. I was on the team of all regulation. I worked for the school district, so I made sure every single I was dotted, every T was crossed. You didn't play games. You did everything by the book. You made sure everyone listened, and there was give and take. And I worked well with the GCs and the CMs. But yeah, when I worked with the GC, it was like, how much can we get done as fast as possible? We're trying to save money. But then I ended up rebuilding huge project, Long Beach schools in Long Island, which were completely underwater. They received like 10 to 12 feet storm surges. They were just like, they closed the bridges to the world. Like, you know, like no one can even get in unless you like showed a construction ID. We had parts of buildings that were literally first floors that were completely underwater, boiler rooms that were completely submerged. It was a wild pieces of buildings that were just sinking into the sand. I was at Kings Park schools in Long Island. I did a bunch of things after Sandy, managing hundreds of people. That was really cool too. But again, I was young and it was cool. Then after that work kind of not dried up, I went over to the CM side, which again is kind of changing teams again because now you work for the school district again. I did some construction management work all around Long Island, dabbled, and then I got a big project up in Yonkers, managed an interior job while roofing was going on. So I'd commute to Yonkers for months, and that was a lot of fun. But then I kind of got bored, and I was already going to breweries on Long Island, and a good friend of mine, Rick Sabaka, the owner of Great South Bay Brewery, I would go to his brewery on the weekends or on weeknights and when we got off early from work and just talk. And I think he kind of knew, and he was looking to expand his brewery from Long Island into the 5 boroughs of New York City: Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, and Manhattan. So he said, I can't pay you what you're making now, but if you take a pay cut, like, you can grow with the company. And it was also very tempting because I was kind of getting tired of driving to Yonkers. I had some money saved. I had just gotten married. So for those of you who don't know, I was married once. Called the practice marriage. And we can get into that another time. But I was ready to take a chance and move. And also the brewery was only like a few minutes from my house where I was living in East Islip. And the train station was only 2 minutes from my house. So like, and if I was going to do the city, I could just take the train in to work and crush it. And I knew a lot about beer at the time. I was excited. I had a lot of energy. I was really looking for a career change. So I ended up to take a pay cut. I went and go work for Great South Bay and opened up the new market for them, the 5 boroughs of the city. And we crushed it. We exceeded expectations. I worked my butt off. And was very successful there. Like I said, we exceeded all expectations. I don't want to go into numbers or whatnot, but we did very, very well. Very well. At the time I was doing that to make extra money from taking the pay cut, I had started DJing on the weekends, and that started going very well. My buddy who I was working for, had just gotten married and started having kids. He kind of wanted to take a step back. I had been in the game for a few years now, so he said, hey, if you want to take the whole thing over, I was like, well, I can't afford all the equipment, and I can't afford the trucks and the storage units and the insurance and all this other stuff. And he said, you could work it off. He goes, as you make money, pay me off. You won't lose. He goes, you'll do great. So I said, all right, that's really cool. So things started to happen at the brewery. It was best, I opened up their events division. We started throwing events at the brewery, which is doing very well. But then just, things happen, and I thought Rick and I were better friends than working for each other. And the relationship became a little tense. So I just said, hey, let's just walk away. We're still friends, and leave things the way they are. And he was really cool. He was great. So I took over the DJ company, and that was fantastic. Did that for years. And it was a wild ride. We did the whole tri-state area. We were doing events anywhere from Montauk to Manhattan to Connecticut to Jersey. Massive stuff, for everything from weddings and huge events for thousands of people on the piers in Manhattan down to just, small parties on Long Island. I was doing bars and clubs and working with the likes of like Marshmello, and got to work with a bunch of people. A bunch of DJs. You know them, I probably worked with them. And it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Then went through a divorce. That's a long story for another time. But then I got an opportunity after my marriage ended to work, to go live out in the Hamptons for a few months and work 7 nights a week in the Hamptons in Montauk. So that was fun. And I did that out there while still running the company. Had a great time. A lot of fun. That's when I started dating Lauren. She would come out to Montauk and hang out, and we started just, seeing each other more and more often. We got to the vineyards. I was also working for a vineyard on the North Fork during the days, just because I liked wine and I just liked money, and then why not? If I'm going to DJ from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., I may as well do something during the day. So I would go work at the vineyard, pouring wine from like 11 to 5, which was just a ferry right across the forks. So started dating Lauren. Then I started working for WWNT while living on Long Island, and then we were looking at houses, and I was looking at places and investment properties and stuff like that, and I said, that's not for me. It's too expensive here on Long Island. I mean, to get a decent house, you got to spend like $400,000 or $500,000, and your taxes are like $12,000 to $15,000. It's just too much. I had always loved Florida. I loved Disney. I was working for WWNT, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to pull the trigger and move down to Orlando, where I could be around my investments, and I could start getting a lay of the land myself, become comfortable with Orlando, and really sink my teeth in. So I moved. In August of 2019 was our first day in. We started looking at places in like February of 2019. Looked at hundreds of places. Narrowed it down. Ended up moving into a place that we still love very, very much. And here we are in Orlando, Florida. Living the dream, having beers, and now... can I say I'm a YouTuber yet? No, I'm still young and fresh, but trying to be a YouTuber. Having fun with you guys. I'm just having fun. My entire life, my mother always said, my dad always said work hard, and my mother always said, if you find something you like to do, it won't feel like work. And that's it, and I've kind of just led my life doing that. And that's the whole story. There you go. Nice. So for all those who got in about an hour into the video, now you know the Pete CARNEY life story. Cheers. Damn, that's fresh. Anyway, now we'll answer all of the questions you've been holding out on. I promised you the whole story. You got the whole story. I never had a DJ name. People always ask my DJ name. I was just DJ CARNEY. He's my last name. I just found that anything you choose won't age well no matter what. I've never, except with the exception of like Funkmaster Flex, which like no DJ name really ages well. Unless it's just your name. Like, someone put some in the chat, like Pauly D. Like, that works, that's his name. But imagine Pauly D was like DJ, like, spaghetti and meatballs. That would still work. It's fun. I don't know that DJ. Sorry, K-Jack. I do know a lot of them, though. I had a lot of fun. I mean, we had Two Friends is a serious show now, and it was really cool because I worked with them. Not only did I work with them, I opened for them one night, and then they didn't have a hype guy or a mic guy, so I was their mic guy for their whole set, and that was insane. But I used to do all the places in the Hamptons, New York City, you name it, I've done it. We had a lot of fun. Lots of fun. Miami, crazy times. But that feels like that was a lifetime ago. I sold to survive the pandemic. The pandemic hit me really hard. As I had a lot of business already booked and a lot of weddings and stuff like that. So you have to not only have all those jobs canceled, but you have to return all those deposits. So that was brutal. So in order to return all the deposits and kind of recover from, and it happened right before the summer, where it's like your busiest season. So I ended up selling most of the business and most of the equipment off to friends. And I knew a ton of DJs on Long Island. So that's kind of how I bounced back. And I was lucky I was able to do that because I know it hit a lot of people hard. But yeah, that's the Pete CARNEY story right there. You guys have anything else? I'm just hanging out with you guys. I didn't know how long the stream was going to last. I honestly thought it was going to last like 15 minutes. We're 80 minutes in. Let's see. Kathy says, staying in Fairfield one night in September, only 1.1 miles from Ellipsis, have now somewhere to go. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Ellipsis is a great spot. And there's some other breweries nearby too. If you just search breweries in the area on Google or Yelp, there's some good ones. If you need any advice, go shoot me an email. Thanks for everyone who has tuned in this entire time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are, please hit the like button. It'll help other people find this video. I wasn't even sure if I was going to keep this on the channel, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is fun. Jamie Fry said, any good sours here? Yes. They have the best sour program in, I want to say all of Florida, but definitely Central Florida. The best sours, including this one. That's so good. All right, here's the plan. I'm gonna run and wash my hands. I'm gonna bring this up to the bar. I'm gonna tell you all the beers I drank and what I thought of them. We'll come back here for a little regroup, and then I'm gonna pick up some beers to go. I have a show tonight, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna leave you in silence with the entire brewery, where you can kind of see a little bit of everything here. And I'll be right back. And Michelle knows, and yes, I always wanted to work for the NYPD or the FDNY, but I just never was high enough on the test. I didn't have a New York City address, and I didn't have any family that was directly related to me. All my cousins are like, I have like a million cousins who are NYPD, and a million friends that are FDNY. But yeah, I'll be right back. You guys stick right there, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Hey,
Hey guys, just made friends. All right, I'm gonna go return this, see if there's anything I missed, and I'll come back. I'm gonna ask the owner too if he wants to talk or not. So stick around. Be right back.
I said I had to go take care of business.
All right, guys, exciting stuff. We're getting a tour from the owners, and we're gonna learn all about ELLIPSIS Brewing. So if you stuck around, we're gonna have some fun right now. I have What's your name, by the way? Lauren. I can't forget that. It's my girlfriend's name.
Oh, that's easy.
All right. Here's Lauren. So, Lauren, just tell us a little bit about Ellipsis.
Okay, so Ellipsis, we started homebrew on a $5 bucket, probably. So we had this building in 2017, so probably about 3 years prior to that. I would
Awesome.
say 5 gallon, then we moved to a half barrel system, and then we went, which I can show you, we actually still have it. And then we went from a half barrel up to 10 barrels, which is where we're at now. So, and it's just myself and my husband's two best friends. We decided just to go on this grand adventure together.
Love it.
So, yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm going to take a beer for the walk.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'll take this one, yeah. Walking beer. So I was right, guys. They do have a 10-barrel brew house. Very exciting. I nailed that.
It is a little messy back here, but it's the
I
production side.
guarantee it's not compared to some breweries we've been to.
I'll show you this first. This is actually our homebrew stand.
This is awesome.
We, my business partner Rob actually built this, pretty much this setup by himself. So it's the 3-step. You have your boil, your mash, your boil, and then your knockoff. So you have all of that, everything. It's kind of just collecting dust at the moment, but I'm gonna shine it up and make it pretty and make it everything.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you can tell. Look at this is like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love it. But that's like, I love the history because everyone just thinks these things just happen.
I mean, our lids for these.
Yes.
Were just pot lids.
I love that. So I was talking about this earlier on the stream where I said, like how startup breweries literally have to nickel and dime their way through because they were talking about frosted glasses and whatnot. And I said, that is like AB money. Like when you start out with everything.
This lovely container right here was actually a fermentation tank.
Get out of
We
here.
have, if you look behind you, there's a refrigerator which has actually come over. I actually use this now, but it also has a fermenter in here. We would actually.
That's awesome.
We would actually just use this, and we've had it rigged up with a thermometer so that it only kicks on when it needs to, so it is temperature controlled.
I love
We
it.
had 2 of those at one time, so we were just brewing out of that and over here and making it work.
So cool.
So then when we opened, we decided to go with a 10-barrel system. We had lots of space. Eventually, ideally, we are going to grow bigger that way because we do have lots of
Yeah.
space.
Oh yeah, a nice big cold box too.
Oh, we do. I'll walk you
It's a
in there
giant
because
cold box,
it's probably
yeah.
gonna be really, let me turn on the light.
No,
so
I was
you
just
can-
complimenting your cold box. All right, so I'm drinking the same thing.
Well, you're
Well,
drinking
that's
trace
a
porter.
porter. This is the big boy.
Yeah, so
Right.
that is actually a porter with lactose in it. This is Dino Chav's barrel aged in Buffalo Trace barrels for over a year.
Oh my God, hold on.
So that's been homogenized with nitrous, so very creamy.
Yeah, I
and,
love that. That is so good.
This bad boy right
Yeah.
here is
You mind if I'll pick it up on the way out?
No,
we'll
Yeah,
take
yeah.
care of that for you.
He'll grab it because he'll run out of here in 2 seconds.
All right, so a year in Buffalo Trace barrels.
Well,
Correct.
Is that the year one?
Woo.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
'Cause I knew we had
Thank
a
you
little-
so much.
13.2%.
Oh,
double
boy.
Mashed, and we max out our mash on at 1,000 pounds. That's all it'll take. So that's 2,000 pounds of all malt. So.
That is incredibly not only delicious but smooth.
Well, we don't want you to taste the alcohol.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it's so smooth.
We ferment it for
That one is my
18
favorite.
days.
Far,
Oh my God.
between the normal, just stout, and then the barrel aged. The barrel aged is so much.
This is incredible. So I'm assuming you do a limited pour on this if someone wants to come in and try this.
So,
10 ounce only.
Yeah.
normally, I'll talk about our barrels, our barrel program.
Yeah, I love it. I didn't even know you guys had a barrel program.
It's very tiny.
No, I mean, but that's still awesome that you're doing it.
In the corner,
So barrel programs, for those who don't know, just because I know we have a little bit of crossover here, are extremely expensive and hard to do. 1, you need to acquire barrels. 2, you need to put a beer in it. And 3, so if you were to brew a beer, you're trying to make money, you put it in your system, yada, 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 shoots right through, hits the bright tank, you put it out as fast as possible, people drink it, you make money. Barrels, you have to then let it sit for a year
Long time.
while you make no money. So it's taking up tank space and barrel space, and you make no money for a year, and then eventually you serve it, and man, did this come out. This is a home run.
Yes.
This is a 5, so everyone knows me on Untapped. Like, this is a 5 out of 5. Like, this is...
Yeah. So that one for sure. I was talking to you a little bit earlier at the bar
Yeah.
about the trophies or our.
This is
medals.
unreal.
So the Florida's Best competition they do in 2020, our base, not our barrel aged version, our base actually won gold. So we were the best in Florida in 2020. So it was
It's amazing.
Something we don't really like.
I'll brag for you. It's freaking
We
awesome.
absolutely love it. I've actually had to hide the one he poured off of. I had to hide that barrel
This is
partner.
so good.
Because him and his wife will drink every last drop of
This
that.
is unreal. This is so
So
good.
yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about
Yeah, let's go.
the system we have over here. So there's 2 rooms here. One is our lab. Eventually, I can turn on the light
see
if
the
you
lab.
like, just so you can get a little peek. It's a little
Yeah,
messy.
but this is where the magic happens.
Eventually, this will be where we do our yeast cultures and we
Yes.
cultivate yeast and all of that. We haven't quite got to there, but we did build up a space to do that
Love it.
at one point. We will get there. And then on this side, we have our mill, which is where all the grain. This is where we actually mill the grain.
Beautiful.
And then there's a pipe that goes all the way over into the mash tun. So this is where the hard labor comes in.
So this is step 1 for those of who are not beer heads out here. This is literally how all beer is made. Step 1. It just it's the size of the how this big this room is.
Yes.
But you'll always see this pipe shooting up in every brewery if you go on a tour into.
Unless they're old school where they just bring them by 5 gallons.
Oh yeah. But if you're at a brewery, I'm assuming they have that. Yeah. Yeah.
Be careful, these are really steep.
I gotcha. Did it for years.
So that white pipe that he was talking about is going to be this one here. This is called our hopper, which is going to go into
the
there's
ma-
a connecting piece here,
Right into the mash
and
tun.
this is our mash tun.
Yeah.
This is where it goes, and then we add water to it. We get it at a right temperature, and then it kind of steeps in that for a while, and then we'll end up going into kettle.
So do you ever hop in the mash tun?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not hop in the mash tun. If we do hop anything to give just a little bit of bitter, it will be done in the kettle. In the
Okay,
kettle,
cool.
This part here. So basically, it'll go through there, and we'll add up a little bit of water once we think we're done, depending on how long that takes. Sometimes it doesn't take very long. But it'll go into this kettle. These are pretty deep. There's a ladder down in there, and it's pretty fun to get into them.
I've been trapped in a few of these.
But so then it'll go into here, and then at that point, if we were doing a certain, I believe there is our Berliner. We might add hops to at
Okay.
the same time, just to give it a little bit of a
Yeah.
taste. Just a little bit. It's like maybe less than an ounce. Like there's really
Yep.
not that much. So, then it'll go to the kettle. It'll boil depending on what you're doing. If you're doing that stout that we talked about, that is an extremely long boil.
Yep.
And with that, the stout we also double mash. So we'll actually mash, pull out, put in, mash again, pull out and put in. So
Get out of here.
yeah.
Wow, what a process.
That is at least a 12-hour or 16-hour
Ooh,
day
what a brew day.
for our trade porter, or not trade porter.
But man, this
right now.
place must smell amazing
Oh,
on
it
that day.
smells so
It's
good.
got to smell so good in here.
I'm a weird person, but my ultimate favorite smell is actually the sour. Everybody thinks it smells like rotten or stinky feet. I, for some reason, absolutely love that smell. So I'm like,
Oh,
I
hop.
love that day.
When we're hop days are like my favorite. And then obviously these exhaust, yep.
Exhaust off of that. Those 2 tanks that we did briefly walk by.
Brights?
The one closest to us is actually our hot liquor.
Oh, okay.
So that's about 180 degrees.
Woo.
And the other one is our RO, our cold liquor, which
Oh.
is reverse osmosis water.
Do you guys do lagers or no?
Our Pilsner is
Oh, okay.
technically
You
a
lager it?
yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
cool.
actually have a Kolsch that is in fermentation right now.
Oh, nice. All right, so here are the fermenters.
So these are
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, we have 5. They're 10-barrel fermenters. Technically, they're 12 if you want to think of it that way. The reason that is because you need headspace. Because
Yep.
once you add in that yeast, it needs space to create carbon dioxide that actually releases into buckets.
You ever have any pop in here?
We have not had any pop in here. We've had accidents, but not containing to that.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, it's like the worst accident if you like.
We've
Yeah.
actually had one person actually do the wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
But they were able to get it back on, but it was just still funny.
Love it.
But right now we do have, how many tanks do we have open? We have 2 tanks open right now. We are going to be brewing hopefully tomorrow.
Nice.
Get some brews going. We have a Kolsch going, which is our first time doing a Kolsch. We're really excited.
I'm
about
pumped
that.
for it.
Yeah, and then we have Hey Hafe, which is our Hefeweizen. And then we have our Berliner. Our beloved Berliner that we treat so
Yes.
well is in that one. And then this little tank down here is where the CO2 and the finished product goes. So roughly 14 to 16 days, depending on what. Lagers obviously take a
Okay,
little longer.
that's not bad. Yeah.
I mean, from start to finish, depending. Some take a little less, some take a little more. Lagers obviously take take a lot longer.
Yep.
But eventually they'll all get moved over into this bright tank, which is where we give it CO2.
Do you hop in the bright tank too?
We do not. If you're gonna hop, you're gonna put them in the fermenter.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so you climb the ladder.
So,
open the top.
so you guys, I mean, you're not doing it in the mash tun, you're not doing it in the bright. So you guys are literally just fermenting with your hops. That's it.
So we will, at a certain point, we will start adding.
Because you guys are known for like super awesome IPAs, right?
Yes.
Like whether they're hazy or triples, doubles, you know, New England style. So that's all just done.
Yeah, so it's done post everything. Like I said, there might be some hops that do go into the kettle, but that's not where you're gonna get your aroma and your flavor. It's not really gonna come from that because you're boiling it. You're gonna get the bitter of that hop, and that's pretty much it. But once it goes into here, we'll add the yeast, and then after a couple days, we'll release some of the yeast because obviously it'll go down to the bottom.
Yep.
And we'll release some of that blow off, is what we call it. We'll blow off.
Yep.
And then we'll actually pump CO2 very slowly into to keep the oxygen out. And
Cool.
we'll actually open the port at the top. And however, whatever hops we're doing, it could be one bucket, it could be 5 million buckets.
Amazing.
We'll actually pour that into the top.
Love it.
So, and we'll show you the hops and stuff in the cooler because that's actually really
Very cool.
So then we'll keg it. We'll, sometimes it takes a day or 2 days to give it a carb.
So that's also known as racking. They'll either rack it or keg it. And then do you guys, when you guys are canning, do you bring in a mobile canning line?
We do. We use
Okay, cool.
Garrett.
Very nice. Cool.
And they'll actually, because we do typically 3 to 4 cans, we'll actually turn FV, which is fermenter 5 and 6, or not 5 and 4, and maybe even 3, depending on how many we're doing, into bright tanks. We actually have
Oh, wow.
carb stones that actually go in.
That's cool. I love it.
We'll carb them up, and then they'll sit in there, and then they'll come in and they'll bring all their equipment, and it kind of just makes an L, and then we'll just can. It's actually pretty cool.
It's very cool. And it's cool you turn them into bright. So a lot, for those who don't know, the reason fermenters have this cone shape on the bottom is the way beer gets its alcohol is pretty much through yeast. Is that, it's basically eating itself. And we like to say it like burps out alcohol.
Yep.
And it slowly sinks to the bottom. So that way your yeast comes down. And yeast can be reused 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times sometimes. Depending on the yeast and what you're looking at. Exactly. So then all good stuff is just sitting up there while everything else sinks to the bottom. And then you can reuse that in different cultures, and then you can use it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. We actually do some of that. We're slowly starting to do some of that. So then we do our keg washer over here. That is actually the machine that I get to play with a lot. It's pretty fun.
It's so the way a keg washing station works, just so you guys know too, it's just like if you see a glass go upside down like you guys have out in the tasting room. It sprays the entire keg inside, make sure it's nice and clean, sanitary, yada, 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 nice and clean, and then you get for the freshest beer.
It takes about 5 minutes per.
It gets a very deep clean.
But this is our sticker.
Yes. Oh, I have so many. I should bring you guys some extra ones.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We almost filled this whole thing up.
This is awesome.
Overflowing. But this is.
Look at this cold box. This is the, oh my God, it keeps going.
So this is connected to the tap.
This is like my pet peeve.
I'll drive the forklift and we'll bring it out here and we'll just do all of that. And then as you can see, probably far down there, all the crazy lines go.
Which I was going to say, so these might look like long lines, but these are actually very short. This is some of the shortest lines you'll see from the keg to the tap wall. Is that when you go to a restaurant or bar, everything else, they're running all the way to the kitchen, into their cold box, down into the kegs, which are much messier than this in most restaurants and bars. So,
I was trying to remember who had the longest one I've seen.
I mean, a lot of the time.
House or something like. There's some places
So, I mean.
are like in the ceiling and they're
Oh, I mean, in New York City, they'll go up 3, 4 stories sometimes. Yard House has long lines, but Yard House refrigerates their lines, which helps a little bit. Like, it's just for show, I think. But,
Well, that's why we like ours being in
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, you want lines that are refrigerated, because also in some restaurants or bars, especially in New York City, is that they might lose refrigeration where your beer sits in that line. So let's say you pour a beer and it sits in that line. You might have 16 ounces of beer, not here, because this is a very short line.
I
But-
think they're 8 to 16 feet.
Yeah, so in some places, this is a great line. Just showing you the difference for those who want to learn about beer, is this is like what we call a short line. This is perfect. Goes right out, and then right on that wall is the tap wall in the tasting room, and that's perfect.
Yeah, we drilled right through that wall.
Yeah, and that's the move. That's what you want to do. The freshest beer you can get. And And that's also why you see people kind of run a line every once in a while when they open up in the morning. If you're that first customer, sometimes if you're like me, because you love beer, you got to start drinking at 10, 11 in the morning. So that's why they run the lines, but beautiful.
Normally purge it every single night. Just clean the top lines.
Yep.
Clean them, but you spray chemical on all your taps, and then you plug them, and then you don't want it by accident.
Same thing. And like I said, even in other places where there's long tap lines, they might pour 2-3 pitchers to try and get all the beer out of the line. Yeah. And also you want to ask or just check, you'll see at good beer places, how often they clean their lines. That's very important, especially if they're running like a porter one day, then they bring in an awesome beer like Ellipsis, it'll taste like shit.
Yeah. And, over here, if you can see kind of over here is our barrels.
Yes.
And all of those are with that dyno, style. One is like a maple one, and you can see when they've been filled. We have one that's almost coming up onto a year.
How often do you guys taste?
Months. Actually, I don't think we've tasted any of those in a while, actually. Yeah. So that one, the Buffalo Trace, the one that's closest on the second shelf, is one that's almost at a year.
Wow.
It's 7/6/20. So that one is almost at a year. We could probably tasting it is kind of weird for me because I like mine cold. But a lot of people like it, and we just take a nail and just...
Yeah, I was going to say, you pop the nail out.
Yep.
We've done a few tastings of other breweries,
right in the front of it, we just let it drip out a little bit. I'm
surprised you guys don't, like, just have fun with it and taste it, like, every, like, 2 months or so.
I think we were doing that for a while, but once we learned, like, it's best to just let it sit.
Yeah.
And do it for a while. Some of those are ones that have been donated to us by brands or by companies, and we'll do like a little collab with them, but then most of those we've actually bought personally.
Very
and then
cool.
We've even done a sour barrel aged.
I was gonna say sours. I've done Chardonnay, like wine barrel sour.
We had a gin barrel.
Oh, gin is so good. Oh.
And I want to say we did a year, but I think it was definitely 6 months or longer.
So good.
But just because there's a different vibe for a sour.
So good.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is awesome. So nice to see behind the scenes. And again, I rave about this place all the time. Everyone here who's watching kind of knows. This is super cool. Do you want me to kill this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. So awesome. And this was unbelievable.
The barrel aged?
Yeah.
Any questions? I'll be here all day.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to go.
Thanks for
Oh, you're good. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go sign off, and then I'm going to buy a bunch of beer to go.
Okay.
When you have the last one, yeah. All right, guys, that was awesome. Totally impromptu. So nice to get a tour there from one of the owners. Listen, this is why I love the beer industry, is that everyone's so friendly, so kind, so nice. And this place, I don't have to lie. Like, you go to some places, you're like, your beer is so good. This place, the beer actually is very, very good. And I'm right on schedule. It's just a little after 5. I was going to kill the stream around 5 today anyway. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know if I missed anything in the chat. I'll just catch up real quick before I go. Let's just look real quick. This is such a great song too. You know. Yeah, barrel aged beers are so good. I totally agreed on. And someone else said that too. Dawn said porters are my favorite, and Kathy, I agree. Barrel aged beers are great. K-Jack, yeah. Hey, I'll be their hype man. I love it here. It was nice to finally hang out with them. That's not my Lauren, but that's just the owner, Lauren. My Lauren is not here today. Yeah, beer tours are totally awesome. Again, so they don't do beer tours here. They don't do tours. That was just something they just did for me. So I thought that was really cool, very nice. My face looks so shiny. It looks so shiny. Shiny. Yeah, she gave an awesome tour, Cameron. Totally agree. Very, so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I encourage you to go on beer tours at your local breweries. A lot of the time they're fun. When I went to Guinness, I went to Ireland. I did the Guinness factory tour. Done. So good luck on your trip in August. You're going to love the Guinness tour. And also, even if you don't like Jameson, I recommend doing the Jameson tour. I wasn't a Jameson fan before I went to Ireland, and I came home one. You'll learn a lot, but you're definitely going to love the Guinness factory tour. Dawn, enjoy. Yeah, McSilva, I know a couple of things back there. I'm not a complete buffoon. What else do we got? Yeah, I will thank the owner, Robert, for sure. Yeah, I thought this was fun. I mean, a nice replacement for Gatorland. Again, I'm totally sorry. Oh, Phenomenal Brandy, thanks so much. Yeah, Jamie Fry, yeah, this was totally impromptu. This was unplanned. I guess sometimes unplanned things are the best. K-Jack, thank you so much. $5 super chat, really appreciate that. Yeah, ready to retire and open a bar in Amity. Thank you so much, Tomorrowland Traveler, appreciate that. Kenny, yeah, I mean, I hope everyone goes out and supports their local craft brewery. Thanks, Armbandido, really appreciate that. I am glowing. I'm glowing. Look at, oh my gosh, I'm glowing. I did put lotion on my face this morning, but it can't still be there, right? I washed my face like 20 times since then. Oh, good. Dawn says Jameson's also on our list. Awesome. Matt, what's up? So good to see you. We're about to end the tour, but thanks for being here, hanging out. Thanks for being a member. You're awesome. Really appreciate you being a member. Thank you, Angela, for being a member. Again, big thanks to Tomorrowland Traveler, John Bailey, Jordan Garrett, Armbandido, all you guys. You guys are all so awesome for supporting and hanging out. Man, what a cool little impromptu stream. This is so great. Yeah, if you guys ever want to swing by, I was telling the owners too, if you ever are looking for craft beer for your resort, if you're taking an Uber or renting a car, this is right next to the airport. Come here first. Grab some cans, or you can grab anything you want on tap in a crowler, which is basically a beer to go. They put it into a can and seal it right here on site. And you can open it up in your hotel resort. You could hang out, walk around the boardwalk, walk around your resort, take it to the pool of your resort. So definitely swing by Ellipsis. Tell them Pete sent you. Tell them you saw it on the stream. Yeah, I need makeup on this set. I definitely could use some makeup on this set. Oh, geez. Look at this. Ugh. All right, guys. I'm going to leave it off here because I'm going to go grab some beers to go. Also, they did hand me a Pilsner, so I'm going to have this Pilsner. That is so good. So this Pilsner actually won them the awards here at Florida. They said they don't often submit their beers to award ceremonies, but every once in a while they do, and this is one that won, and I can tell you, that is so good. That is so clean, so nice. Yeah, we're gonna grab some crowlers. Thank you, Shelly. Really appreciate you watching. So great to see you. Yeah, and for those who want to see more of this big red face, tonight I'll be on WDWNT.tv at 9 o'clock for Outside the Bubble. Really appreciate you guys being here. This was so much fun to hang out with all of you. Many thanks. Many thanks. I don't know how I feel about SIGs, but I mean, someone said CARNEY Crew. CARNEY Crew is a little bit better. But I mean, having my name in there sounds a little weird. I don't know. We'll figure it all out. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Sorry about the Gatorland stream. We're going to make a Gatorland video happen. Thanks again for being here, Jordan. Appreciate that. That's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here at Ellipsis Brewing. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to do a lot more fun content from breweries just like this all around the Orlando area, as well as, you know, the classics. We'll be at Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and Gatorland. So tune in. Appreciate you guys being here. Please subscribe and tell a friend or family member who might like craft beer to watch this video. All right. Love you. That's it. Be kind to one another. Peace and love.